Hello, and welcome to another episode of Unleashing Brilliance. It's fabulous to have you here. And I'm so excited to talk to you today because, let's be honest, we need to have a serious talk. Today, I want to tackle one of the biggest myths out there, and it's this idea that resilience is the golden ticket to your success. You know, that if you can just push a little bit harder, you can grind longer, and you can prove that you can handle it, that you'll somehow win at this game of life and business. Now, spoiler alert, we've been sold a furphy. It's an absolute trap. And I see it all the time with all of my clients. And, you'll see here shortly, myself too. From the outside, if I think about so many of my clients, some of them, they're absolutely smashing it. They're leading teams, they're growing businesses, they're ticking off goals like they're playing corporate bingo. It's awesome to see. But behind the scenes, if we're not careful, the cracks are starting to form. That exhaustion is real. The joy is missing. And the worst part, they're just telling themselves that I just need to push a little bit harder. Let me ask you a question. At what cost? This is what I want you to think about today on this podcast, because I get it. This hustle that I'm talking about here, this hustle linked to resilience, the one that I'm talking about, it actually almost broke me. I've lived it. Growing up in a working class family, success was drilled into me like a simple equation. It'll be you work hard, love, you'll get noticed. And it was almost like more hours, work hard, more hustle will equal more success. And so I did what any overachiever would do. I outworked everyone. I climbed that corporate ladder. I ticked all the right boxes. And guess what? It did work until it didn't. And then I stepped out into entrepreneurship, into running my own business, thinking, finally, freedom, yeah, whippy. Only to realize that my toxic relationship with resilience had actually followed me a bit like a bad ex that still knows your Netflix password. But, I kept grinding. I kept maxing out my hours. I kept proving that I could handle it. And again, the results came. Best-selling books, million-dollar businesses, an amazing client roster, but again, at what cost? The brink of burnout, exhaustion, that deep soul-level fatigue that makes you stare blankly at your laptop like it's personally betrayed you. What I had to do, I had to unlearn everything that I thought I knew about success. So you may be feeling this. You may be there now, and you may be asking, what's the alternative, Janine? Well, this is exactly what I spoke to Reepa Patel about on a recent episode of Unleashing Brilliance, and she shared something brilliant. She shared that success isn't about being the rock that takes every single hit. It's actually more about being the river. Just think about it. Rocks resist pressure until they crack. But rivers, they adapt, they carve new paths, they move with intention. And this is what sustainable success actually looks like. It's about knowing what's within your control, realizing what isn't and letting that go. And it's about focusing your energy where it actually matters. It's not about giving up. It's about being smart with your strength. So I want to give you 4 ideas, 4 pillars of sustainable success. And this is the framework that has helped me go from being an overworked corporate warrior to a business owner who most of the time actually loves her life. Don't get me wrong. Occasionally, even these 4 pillars for me do not always exist, but I'm working very, very hard to ensure that every single day I'm getting closer to achieving these 4 pillars of sustainable success. So the first pillar is purpose. Let's be real. Working hard for the sake of working hard is just glorified suffering, really, isn't it? So the success starts with purpose. It's about doing the work that lights you up, that gives you energy. It's about doing the work that aligns with what it is that both you know and you know that you're meant to be doing. If you're exhausted, constantly questioning why you're doing this, or worse, resenting your own business or your role, then maybe it's time for a purpose audit. The second pillar is about prosperity. Money matters, but prosperity isn't just about dollars. It's about the flow of value. It's about doing work that energizes you, that attracts the right clients. And this is important. It's about doing the work that pays you what you're worth. And if you're still undercharging, I want you to stop that right now. Seriously, you are not a charity. Your bills need love too. And again, go back through this podcast series, because on one of my episodes, I talk about the way of quitting undercharging and actually start charging what you're worth. The third pillar is one of pleasure. Success without joy is just corporate level punishment with better branding, right? Reaper and I talked about how prioritizing pleasure, whether it's creative hobbies, taking proper breaks, or just doing more of whatever it is that makes you happy, actually can make you more successful. Why? Because burnout, exhausted you, is not doing your best work. But happy, joyful you is doing the work that you love in the way you want to do it, with the people that you love working with. And this final pillar is one of freedom. True freedom isn't just about having more time. It's about creating space to think, the space to grow, the space to make better decisions. My beautiful client and friend, Donna McGeorge, talks about this at length in so many of her books, the space, the capacity to actually build a business and life by design. And the only way to get space is you've got to stop saying yes to absolutely everything. Yeah, I'm talking to you, I'm talking to me, I'm talking to those of us that say yes to yet another project, yet another opportunity that maybe you don't want to do, or maybe it's just not the right thing to be doing for now. It's time to rewrite the rules. If you're exhausted from trying to be that unshakable rock, it's time to change the narrative. Success doesn't have to mean a constant sacrifice. It doesn't have to mean proving your worth through suffering. The game has changed. And if you're ready to stop grinding yourself into dust and to start building a business and life by design, then let's do this together, because this is exactly what we work on in my Inner Circle and Elevate communities, how to create success without the burnout. So I want to leave you with this. Where in your life are you still trying to be the rock when you should be the river? Where do you need to stop pushing and start flowing? Because your future, that more joyful, way less exhausted future self, is waiting for your answer. Ask yourself, what decisions, what things do I need to change today that my future self will thank me for? That's it for today's episode. And I'd love to know if this resonated. Please send me a message. Please share it with any friend, colleague, anyone that you feel would benefit from this message. And most importantly, I want you to commit to one small shift this week. Let's ditch the toxic resilience trap and start building success our way. Until next time, keep unleashing your brilliance that I know is in you, that brilliance that I know that your clients are looking for, that brilliance that will attract more of those amazing clients into your world.